Hi, this is the week 9 Understanding Xrefs and Hatching for the course of AutoCAD Essentials for Civil Engineers. Now let's see what we will learn in this session. In this session, you will be learning to work with external references, various tools and concepts in the external references, and then you will be learning about how to hatch objects, how to create different sectional detail or the fill into the elevations or to the plan in your drawings. So let's start with Xref. Before going to the tools for Xref, I would like to share you what the external references means in the and where it should be used in a process of CAD drafting. Now, while we are working in a project, specifically a building construction project, there are several drawings that we need to work, and all the drawings starts from conceptual design. Then we go to the detailed design. Before that, we work with the schematic design. Then after the detailed design, we go to the construction documentation. So there is a different phases from where we start working. So while we are working in the conceptual design, we start with the architectural drawing that will lead to the schematic design. So once the architectural drawing is done, we have a lot of other stakeholders that would be working in the project. Maybe it be a structural drawing or an HVAC drawing, electrical drawing, or it can be a plumbing drawing, a firefighting drawing. A lot of drawings will evolve from the basic general assembly plan or the layout of the architectural drawing of the particular building construction project. Now, what work sharing in CAD means? It means that when we are working in a team, like when all the stakeholders are working, or the consultants and the contractors are working in a team, everybody would be sharing the drawing. Everybody would be working in a coordinated pattern where they will be working on a particular baseline drawings like the architecture drawing. For example, if we want to develop a structural drawing, we have to look into the basic architectural drawing and then we start with the structural drawing. Same with the HVAC drawing or with the electrical drawings or with the plumbing drawing. So, and then the rest keeps on going around. For example, for the electrical power drawings, so we would be basically taking the electrical drawings and giving the lighting plan or giving the power layout, the circuit layout. HVAC drawings would be also taken from the existing architectural drawings. Then we can have the piping drawings, and there are a lot of stuff that can be done with the. So what happens exactly is there is the architectural drawing, maybe one of the base line of starting the project, and where all the drawings that would be evolved, that is evolved later on, would be from the architectural drawing. So here we have the concept of external reference. Let's, for example, if we want to develop an HVAC or an electrical drawing or a structural drawing, let's take an example of a HVAC or a ducting drawing. So in this case, we need to have the architectural drawing which is proved or which is in the design phase. Design approved is there. So from that architectural drawing, we are going to Xref that drawing into the HVAC drawing that we would be making. Now, when we are doing an architectural drawing, probably we are going to have the walls, doors, windows, and all the specification of these spaces there in the architectural drawing. So here we have two things. One is the Xref. That means when we are doing a structural drawing, we are going to Xref the architectural drawing to see where the rooms are. Then we will place our columns and we will place, and then from there we are going to make the column layout or the beam layout or the footing layouts based on the architectural drawing. So we can refer this drawing into the drawing that we are doing, and this is the process where the external reference occurs. Similarly, so what does external reference means? That suppose, let's say there is a HVAC drawing that we are doing and we refer an architectural drawing. So whatever changes that will be there in the architectural drawing will be there in the HVAC drawing that we are working. That the architectural drawing changes, the reference of the drawing that is in the HVAC drawing will also show the change. That means there is a link. There's a one-way link that is happening. And further, let's say the HVAC drawing is further referred. So now then it goes another way in a flow. For example, let's say there is another piping drawing that has to be evolved from the HVAC drawing. So if the architectural drawing changes, the changes will be there in the HVAC drawing where the architectural drawing is referred, and further in this piping drawing the changes will come down the line. So it is basically the work sharing part in CAD where people in different stakeholders, or the different consultants are informed about the changes that is going to happen. So there are various techniques and various concepts in Xref. So let's start with a small example of how we look into the Xref and different terminologies in the Xref. So now coming back to it, so there are external references. So Xref means external reference. So when you are referring a particular drawing in the project from outside file, that a DWG file, you are referring to the drawing, and there is a link between the two drawings. That means the source drawing in which you are referring and the external reference drawing. So if there is any change in the external reference drawing, the change would be there in the main drawing. So let's take an example and see how the Xref works. So here I will create a file. Let's say, for example, so I create a file name as, let's say, architectural drawing. So I'm saving this file as architectural layout, or let's say a floor plan, and this is an architectural layout. Here this drawing will be referred while we are doing an HVAC or a structural, and see how it works. Let's say we create some layers over here quickly, and then we will be referring this particular layout in a structural drawing or an HVAC drawing, or doing a furniture layout, or let's say different scenarios we'll be discussing, and we'll be learning how the Xref will be used. So here we have we take the units, let's say as engineering, and let's take this. So again we are using an imperial system over here, right? So we can have an example with the matrix system also, but here we are having an example with the imperial system. So I keep the limits as, let's say, 30 feet, 30 feet. So now make sure, now another thing that we need to take care is about the layers. Layers are very important in Xref. So we have to have a designated layer for each element that we draw in the drawings, right? And then we would be seeing that how the layers will play a dominant role while we are extracting the files into the other file. So this is an architectural drawing. So let me create, let's say, a space. So I have this, let's say, create a rectangle with the first corner point, and let's say the other corner point is, let's say, 15 feet, 20 feet. So let's say I start with, and let's say I want to create some layers. So let me create some layers over here. So here I create a layer. So of, I would write it A wall and designate it as, let's say, a color red. So then I would be creating another layer, let's say a door, and I'll be designating the color as blue. So then I would be creating a layer called window, right? So let's say I have 3 layers. Now let's make it this a current layer to work into it. So I change this into the current layer as wall. So I have architectural layout. Let's say I make a 9 inches, and let's say I explode this and make it as, let's say, 10 feet internal walls I want to create. So I need to explode it. So once we explode it, it will have different lines. So let's say I give it as 9 feet 6 inches as the offset distance. So here I have this 4.5 inches wall, right? So here I have different walls over here, and I will be having, let's say, 10 feet and 4.5 inches. So I'm creating an architectural plan just for the Xref sake. So let me move this entire file. Let's say I would like to move it 5 feet more. or I would like to move it, let's say I would like to move it, let's say 4 feet. So let's say, okay, so then this is a line, and let's say I give it, so this is a basic architectural plan I am creating for a particular use. So let me have this. So now you can see that these are created in the wall layers. Then I will be having an opening over here just to create an example that this is an architectural plan, and create some doors and windows over here. So let me first of all explode it and just give me an opening over here and create a basic window and door. Let's say 3 feet 3 inches as the opening over here. So let me put it like this, and so this is the architectural layout of the space over here. So I can have a 3 feet opening this side and a 3 feet opening this side. So there are two access to the space. Okay, so in this I would just join these two lines so that I can get an architectural partition walls. So here I need the opening this side. Okay, so let me have it here. So I just give a symbol of door over here so that we are in sync. So I create a circle and just create a symbolic representation of a door. This is just for reference. So we will normally we use blocks for the door symbols, but just I'm creating a fast symbolic representation so that we also revise how we can draft, and then we can also revise about the basic concepts of layers also in this. So just this is a trial exercise so that every time when I draft something, you would be understanding how the drafting can be made speedily. So now this is the basic. So I just put this objects into the layer called door, and match these properties with this particular layer, and let me have the door here also, and let me have the hinges. Just I'm taking an basic, I'm not going very accurately over here, just wanted to create a basic layout so that we can have an understanding. Right. Now here we have this architectural plan, basic architecture plan having let's say 3 doors, and you have this walls over here. I can have a window over here, so I can have a window at the mid. So let's say I have a window of 3 feet, and here we are. So now I want to have a detailed drawing of this. Let's say I need to have a plumbing drawing or a firefighting or an electrical drawing or a ceiling plan, reflected ceiling plan for the electrical, or the false ceiling drawings or whatever it is. So I want to have this as a base drawing. So now you see that in this particular drawing I have used 3 layers. One is the A window, and I have this A wall. Now one command that I would like to introduce over here is the purge command. So the purge command basically is used, so if you say purge over here, to delete objects like the layers, text, blocks which are not in use. For example, there are, if I purge the layers over here, so what will happen, so if I say purge all after selecting the layers, so do you have purge dimension style purge, skip this item, so purge all items. So now you look into it that what will happen is but there are certain layers which is the selected layers cannot be made current, the following. So probably there are certain Xref dependent layers which is over here, so let's not worry about it. This is some bugs that has come, but okay. So now we have 3 layers over here. So this is the architecture layer that I have created, and here I have. Now, so what I will do is, this is a plan. I open up a new file. Let's say I open up a new file and name it as, let's say, an electrical layout, or right. So I would say that here I go with the, so press. So here I go with the new, and I'll have an imperial, and here I save this file as, let's say, an electrical layout. So it would be floor plan electrical. So here what I will do is I will Xref the file that is created in architecture. So there are two files now. One is the floor plan electrical. Let me name it again, name it correct. So electrical. So yeah, this is the floor plan electrical DWG file, in which I am interested to create some electrical points like the fan, the lights, the switches, and other thing. So what I will do is I would externally refer the architectural drawing into this particular drawing. So for that, I would go for a command called Xref. So there are different commands like X-attach and other thing. X-attach, X-clip. So you can directly attach an external reference files by the command called X-attach. But here I would suggest that we should go with the command called Xref, and then this dialog box will be open. So this dialog box name is external reference. So here you can find that there is a drop down list where it says that attach a drawing. So if I want to attach a drawing, I have to go to the my folder where I have saved. So here I have the drawing. So here the architectural plan is there. So now the moment I open this file, it will ask, just like the block insert, there will be a dialog box like attach external reference. Now here you see that name of the file which is externally referred is displayed over here, and apart from that it displays that if you want to scale this, so specify on screen. So if you click on specify on screen, the moment you will insert this external reference, it will ask for scaling. But here I want to go with an uniform scale, so I click on it, and then there are two options, attachment and overlay. Now by default the reference type is attachment. So what happens, for example, in this electrical plan layout, I have Xref architectural plan. Now in the electrical plan, the architectural plan is referred as attachment. Now if I external refer the electrical drawing to another drawing, let's say power drawing, right? So the architectural drawing will come because it is attached to the electrical drawing. But if it is overlaid, if the architectural drawing is overlaid in the electrical drawing, so the architectural drawing will not come with the electrical drawing when the electrical drawing is external reference into the power drawing. So this is the difference. So we will see the difference between the two with some application. Then we have the specify on screen, and you have this, you can have a path which is saved. Relative path means it will take the relative path, for example, not the full path. Let's say if it is in a folder, inside a folder it will take the path. So if it is in a folder, let's say week 10 drawing folder, so it will not take C drive or something. So the relative, if the folder path is defined in the file type, so it will call it from there itself. So it is, so by default the relative path option is chosen in the path type. Then if you want to have the rotation angle on screen, so let's have it angle 0. So I press OK, and then I go for specify insertion point. The moment I specify the insertion point, I can see that the drawing, that is the architectural drawing, is Xref. Now what happens when basically I Xref it? Now let's go with the layer manager. Now see what will happen. Now over here you can see that the architectural, so this I will this file that I need to unload. I'll talk about it. So okay, so we can remove this also. Let's not worry about this. This is an unreferenced file that had come with the file. So here we have this architectural file, architectural plan, which is the external reference file, and this is the main file that is we are working into it. So there is an unreferenced PDF which is there. So let's not worry about it. So there is a current and there is an attached file. So the attachment is the floor plan architectural. Now if I go to the layer option right now, so here we find that the file that is used, for example, is the for the Xref is the architectural plan. Now here the layers are displayed over here. That was this is the layer of that we had created in the architectural plan. These layers are called Xref dependent layers. So we cannot work in these layers. So you can see that these are the three layers which is Xref dependent. Xref dependent means it came with the external reference. For example, the door, the wall, the window, all the layers had come with the drawing named as floor plan architecture. So you can see that with the name of the layer, the name of the file is attached over here. Now, let's say I want to create a new layer. So I will go for all use layer. So let's say I create a new layer name as dimensions, and I want to also have a layer as, let's say, a new layer as so I will rename it as annotations. Then I will have another layer as so I'll rename the layer as lights, and rename this as fans, and I can rename this as let's say switches, and so on. So here these are the layers that are with the electrical drawing that we have created. So let me have a prefix to it so that I can uh, discriminate it between the architectural discipline and the electrical discipline. So here I rename them and have a prefix. That means before the dimension I'm having a prefix. So I'm renaming it and I'm naming it as e-lights, or I can say light fixtures. So I can have the fans, switches, so and sockets.